guys, welcome back to Eva's World of Art, and today I would like to show you my favorite art supplies. So these are the supplies that I mostly use for watercolor paintings, acrylic paintings and also small sketches and mandala drawings. These supplies include from small erasers to big containers of paint. So please watch till the end to know which all supplies that I use most often. I took a 2 weeks break because I had my exams going and I had to deal with that. Without further ado, let's get into the video. Yay! Hey guys, welcome back. So now I'm going to show you my basic stationery items that I carry along with me if I just want to sketch on my sketchbook. So I'm going to be swatching them on a piece of paper, which I will also link, and all these items are going to be linked in the description box below. A basic necessity for every artist out there is a pencil and an eraser. So the pencil that I'm using is not actually a pencil, but it's a pen pencil, which is the Pallet Super Grip 07, which I use almost every day if I want to draw something. And this was my first pen pencil, which works so well. When I use it, it's like any other pencil. This is when I do it lightly, and then I shade. And the lightest shade possible is that. That is the lightest shade possible. That is the lightest shade. This is when I did it pretty hard, and this is when I did it softly. This is a number 1 pen pencil that I've been using for almost a lot of years right now. So this is the H&B drawing eraser. I actually got this from a drawing set that I got a while back, and as you can see, look at that. I did it really lightly. If I do it a bit harder, as you can see, you can barely see anything except this kind of like a line or stroke over there. So that is how this H&B pencil works, and it is actually pretty long since I've been using it for almost a year now. It has shortened and the markings are almost gone, as you can see. And the next necessity that everyone needs to have is a ruler. This is the Smiggle blue ruler, and as you can see, I've been using this for like a lot of years right now, because I got this when I was small from one of my relatives, and I don't use the markings a lot. I just use it for just perfecting and making it straight, and I don't use these markings for any other kind of purpose. And yeah, so this is my number 1 scale, and it's not wobbly or anything. As you can see, you got a straight line over there, another straight line, 2 straight lines. Another thing that I use for drawing mandalas is a compass, because you really need a compass for making mandalas, and this had been here for a long time now, and I didn't remove it because I was kind of lazy to do that. Yeah, so yeah, as you know, the compass works really neatly. Yeah, so I didn't put like a really hard pencil, because you're gonna erase it anyway. So this is a perfect circle made by this compass from Camlin, and I will also link this in the description box below. Another thing that I use are fine liners, and I have 2 types of favorite fine liners, and this is the Faber Castell Eco Pigment 0.3 fine liner. I also have a 0.5 fine liner, and a 0.05 fine liner from the same company, Faber Castell. I'm going to be frank over here. I don't like Faber Castell. The only thing that I actually like from that company are these fine liners, and these work beautifully, as you can see. This is the 0.05. Now the 0.3. I bought this separately because I don't need every type of fine liner they have. And as you can see, obviously, this is going to be a bit more thicker than this, a bit more pigmented, because the lead is not that fat. So the first one is 0.05, 0.3 and 0.5. And the next type of fine liner that I use are these fine liners from Artline. So I actually got this from my grandparents, and these are like one big set. I have almost like 7 pens, as you can see. And I'm going to swatch them out for you. So the ones that I have right now are 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5, 0.8. I'm going to test them out. How it looks, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. Before I said I had 7 pens and now I'm showing just 6. It's because I got an extra 0.3, and then my grandfather bought me this whole set, so that equals 7 pens, and those are my fine liners. And what I'm showing right now is a sharp tool, which is a sharp knife, and this works really powerful. I have been using this for cutting some papers from the sides if I don't have a scissor in hand, right? This is kind of like a tiny knife, an X-Acto knife. This X-Acto knife is kind of sharp, and I actually hurt myself using it. So you got that small piece really quickly, and if you want to do like small pieces in the middle, you can't easily use a knife or a scissor very quickly. So that is why I'm using an X-Acto knife, and sometimes my legs get stuck in the pen pencil, so I use it for that too. So when you open this, you can see a number of blades in this, and the ones that are kind of blunt, you can store it and dispose it inside this. I just disposed one of them because they are so sharp and they last for like forever. And next is the Sharpie fine point permanent marker, which I got for a set of 3. This is the 2 sets. And as you can see, I was just testing out if this is permanent or not, or if it will stay on plastic, and in fact it does, and but it does bleed a lot on paper, and I'll just show you right now. So as you can see, it does bleed and it does spread on the edges, as you can see. As you turn the page over, you will see that it does bleed a tiny bit. The only issue of this permanent pen, and this is actually alcohol based, is one of my favorite pens that I like to use, and this is, I think this is actually 1.0. So the next basic thing you need is paper. I've not experimented with a lot of paper, but for making cards I used 130 GSM paper, and this is a used sketchbook of mine which I made, and as you can see, it stores nice paintings and mandalas. So this has 50 sheets. It is 130 GSM, and it is an A4 size paper, and you can also tear it from the edges, and all these swatches are on this. Next, I got this new because I had this a while back, but then it got over, so I bought a new one, but I didn't use it yet. So this is 400 GSM A5 paper. paper, and it's acid free, pH neutral, special acrylic painting paper. It is actually really good. This is actually like cardboard because it's so hard. Can you hear the sound? Yeah, it's so hard. And I do all of my A5 paintings and work on this, and I have to say watercolor does not bleed on this paper. So the next category is colored markers. So almost everyone knows about the Crayola supertips, and these are my basic markers, and if anyone asks me to bring any markers, it will definitely be Crayola supertips. So I'm going to test them out. It's going to be a long process, so I'm going to be showing you in 3, 2, 1. So this is how it looks when all the swatching is done. Looks pretty neat, and the nib looks like this. The cap and the bottom matches the color, so that's a really convenient. So the Crayola supertips, I just have around 20. Another one that I like, but it's actually a brush nib, and that is the Tombow Food Noseke brush pens, which are right here, which I have for a pack of 10, and I'll be swatching them up, and this is how it looks. So these are how they work. So what you see in front of you is a glass full of brushes. And as this video mentions, I'm just going to show you my favorite brushes. So this is a full set of the brushes that I use most often, and I'm going to swatch them out. Smallest brush that I have. So that is how it became when I used. So this is the result when I used the finest one I have from the set. And now I'm going to use this one, which I used like almost every single day. So that is a bit more thicker than the one I did before. And this is another brush, but I don't use this because I don't know the specific reason why, and I don't get a chance to use this because I already have many brushes that work exactly the same, and I don't actually know why this is used. But then for splattering paint, I definitely recommend this because the other ones that I tried didn't work out for splattering. This is the only one that is really good for splattering paint. And when you're splattering paint, do like this. So I think you can see it. There are some splashes of paint, and that's how it works. And also acrylics, when I use it for splashing paint, I always wet them out. And now I'm using this angular brush. This is how it performs. And this one is my favorite. And this is the round brush that I have been looking for my whole life. So it's really good for brush lettering. So my favorite sealing adhesive is the Faber Mod Podge Gloss. Let me show you the types of paint that I use. But before that, using paint, we need a palette. So first of all, I'm going to show you the palette which I use. And the palette is this palette. I really don't want to show you how the inside looks because I use this so much. So anyway, I'll show you. Yeah. And since it is acrylic, it's really hard to get it off. Now I'm going to swatch acrylic colors, and since I've used this far, I have to say that Flash acrylic colors are one of the best acrylic colors out there. So Flash has 16 colors. So they all have good colors. They all have a variety of colors. Now in this video, all I ever talked about are my favorite things, and it also includes mediums. And till what I've done this far, I have shown acrylics, the mediums that I use for mandala drawing. Now I'm going to show you watercolor paintings. I'm not going to focus on any drawing or realism. So this watercolor set includes this watercolor brush pen. It also includes a sponge and few colors. And it's actually really nice to see. This is actually a palette. This is actually a travel set. I'm going to be using this watercolor brush pen for swatches. So as you can see, these are really vibrant colors, and you can also get them for a pack of 42. So that is my whole tour and my whole collection of my favorite art supplies. Guys, so much for watching. I hope you all loved it and enjoyed it. So please click that like button and subscribe, and also